That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
No tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
Fairly alarmed here.
Welcome to Masters of the Nerdiverse Random Select. I want to scream. I'm so excited. I can't with it at all. This is where we run a gauntlet of films that are randomly chosen, that are pit against each other until one final film is declared the victor. I'm, of course, your ringmaster, Mike G. And with me, as always, is the weekly man with the plan, Winter Trash Monk the Third. And the apocalypse himself, the last mutant on Earth, Brian from MOTN Reviews. Was cracking, dude.
I'm excited.
And we're gonna do a really quick Three Stooges. Hello, just to calm my mind goblins. Starting with me, then it's gonna go into Winter, then it's gonna go into Brian. Hello. There we go. So it's Halloween. It's time.
Goodbye, my Coney Island
baby. Goodbye, my Coney Island. Goodbye, my Coney Island.
Baby. On board.
No, we're not the B Sharps. Speaking of festivities, it's Halloween season. It's time for the spooks, which is a funny word to use given our
October, baby.
It's October, Baba.
Mike,
So,
I don't like where this joke's going.
that's why I immediately abandoned it, baby. We're talking about horror movies, those of the scary variety. So for the MOTN Random Selected goes a little something like this. We've chosen 8 films that randomly selected, 8 horror films that we have randomly put against each other. And for every episode, we're going to pit 2 movies against each other till there's only one victor. We have 3 hosts here, so it isn't impossible to get a tie. And we're going to boil this down until there is a horror champion. For this first episode, we're actually going to be talking about 1957.
Pardon me. Wrong. We're talking about 1976, The Omen.
The Omen.
And 1982,
Creepshow. Where's my cake? Okay, I gotta know. Let's start these off right. What's your, I would say, Brian, what is your, first experience with The Omen?
I had seen The Omen, a long time ago when I was a child. Had not revisited it. Gotta tell you, was stoked. Love myself a good Damien movie, and that's exactly what I got. And my experience with Creepshow, love Stephen King. That whole Leaf story is fantastic. It stuck with me from childhood, so I was stoked to see both these movies pop up.
Perfect. Winter, what is your experience with The Omen and Creepshow?
Yeah, so The Omen, I watched when my dad was going through a phase of, these are classic movies that I must show my children. So I watched it, and I'm like, okay, it's definitely a classic. I view it as a required viewing if you're into horror movies type thing. It's like a prerequisite if you're going to the College of Movies. Creepshow, I like Giorgio Romero a lot.
Giorgio, Doug.
Yeah.
G-Rom.
Yeah, G-Ro. G-Ro.
As
now
we call him.
Godzilla villain character.
G-Ro.
G-Ro, Doug.
Yes. His villain power is running out of money during production.
Wow. That's his mutant power. That's my secret, Cap. I'm always broke.
Yeah. I liked Creepshow a lot as a kid, as we'll probably get into the Barbeau Zone.
The Barbeau Zone. It always goes back to the Barbeau Zone.
That's actually by far probably one of my favorite sections of Creepshow. Is the
we'll get to those
shooting. Okay.
He shoots her with a freaking attack gun.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't get a lot of experience with The Omen. because as a kid, it was in that same unwatchable cupboard with The Exorcist. You know what I mean? My mom wouldn't let me watch it. So I didn't watch The Omen until later in life. I could watch Hellraiser and watch, Frank slice a rat open with a switchblade, but I couldn't watch a little demon kid knock his mom off of a 1-story balcony. And with Creepshow, I watched Creepshow, like you mentioned when I watched Creepshow since I was a kid. It's actually one of my favorite horror films of all time, just flat out, because I love anthology stories. And Creepshow definitely holds a very special place in my heart. So now we've come to a place where we have to actually start pitting these bad boys against each other. I would start with Brian. Who do you got in this fight?
Look, it came down to a very simple deal. When I was watching The Omen, I was like, man, it looks kind of dated. Man, it's really kind of slow. Holy shit, this kid is terrifying.
Dating, bro.
With Creepshow, I was like, this is a whole lot of fun, a lot of great stories. No complaints. I forgot about the Tandettes, had forgotten about Ted Danson. That's also a fantastic story and quite terrifying. To be honest with you. I mean, I don't think in modern film, we've seen that specific death recreated anywhere. So that made it very unique.
Up until the end of that particular story, that's a very realistic, I would say, segment, man.
Right.
Bro was upset.
And also, we got Leslie Nielsen of Naked Gun fame being a very convincing villain, which scared me more than anything as a kid.
He wasn't a villain. He was just upset. He was calm, man. He was committing murder. No one gave two shits. I was like, what?
That's what's most terrifying about him, because he gave no shit, dude. He was laughing it off. You know what I mean? Hope you could hold your breath, joking, dude. And it was like this, he just doesn't care. He's so vindictive that he's beyond anger. He never got mad the entire segment.
The entire time he stayed cool, and that's what made him a tad bit creepy. But ultimately, in this fight, I had to go with Damien, because at the end of that film, that child, all I could think about is, why would you name your kid Damien? Like, why? Sorry, Damien's out there floating around in the world. No offense against you.
Or Damiens.
Like, have you seen this child, man? And then, like, the 666 on top of the head, I was like, oh, I don't remember that. Oh, God, that's terrifying. Okay. Oh, God, is there a 666 on top of my head? Oh, God.
I think it's fun to let Winter be the tiebreaker and let him go third. I think that would be interesting.
Okay.
Because, and I don't want to telegraph my decision, but I recently watched The Omen, and I forgot, like Brian said, just how funky this kid is. There's the scene where they're going to church, and the kid is just sitting there dead quiet, and the kid's starting to see like angels and the stuff on top and the crucifix, the cross. And the kid just loses his shit out of nowhere, starts clawing at his mom and rips off her little fun hat. Like, and the mom is like totally bewildered. And then you have scenes with, the housekeeper, the concubine of the devil with the Rockwallers, that woman, and how manipulative she was.
God, that woman is terrifying.
That movie is heavily unsettling.
And when you talk about Halloween films, I was like, you know what? This is fairly terrifying.
But Creepshow, man. Creepshow, the crate, like the Barbozone, that thing taking the apple chunk out of Barbeau's face, her getting on his case, they're creeping up on you with the cockroaches, dude. It's out of control, man. It's so iconic. And what kills me about it, what makes it a favorite for me, is that it's all comic book based. It's based on the old EC comics. So even the sillier stories like Stephen King's "I got touched in meteor shit," like that's not a good segment, but it's still based in comic book lore, and they put that hard color light to let you remind you this is a comic book. So it getting comic book cred, it getting nostalgia cred, I gotta go with Creepshow.
Does it get Halloween cred?
It's a great Halloween movie.
Does it get Halloween?
What's better than putting on Creepshow at a Halloween party?
Okay, well, there you have it. We have one on one side, the other on the other side. This is why we do this. This is why we go random
Select winner.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
I'm going to try to be epic here. So the question that is raised, ladies and gentlemen, are which one is a superior horror movie?
Uh-huh.
The Omen, of course, has some horror elements dealing with the Antichrist and whatnot, and has one of the most iconic endings, I believe.
Yeah.
In horror movie history. Creepshow is to take some language from Mike G. A love letter to comic books. He says love letter a lot, I remember.
I love love letters, man.
It's a love letter to love letters. But Creepshow is like that. You're right for pointing out that it is like paying homage to EC Comics. And you can see that they're pretty blatant about it in some of those scenes. Some of the shots, yeah. Like, I finally got my cake.
I finally got my cake.
A ghost.
Boo haunted house, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. So, but then again, Brian is right to point out that it is which one's the best horror movie. Creepshow was never made me like scared or anything. Didn't give me any shocking. Like when I was watching it, I'm like, oh, this is a love letter to comic books, because I was already well into reading shocking suspenseful stories, Tales from the Crypt.
There you go, horror.
Yeah, but it's like I'm making a distinction between like horror that scares you or horror that's like oh,
having a good time.
Yeah, having a good time. So I have to go with The Omen is a superior horror movie.
There you have it, man.
Because The Omen is a prerequisite for the Miskatonic University of Horror, that everyone should watch.
Wait, could you back up and explain that word, please? The what?
Miskatonic, I don't know. I was just doing H.P. Lovecraft reference in there for some reason.
There you go.
I'll take it, man.
Her name will come up later.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I love The Omen.
Yeah, I
love Creepshow.
Now, here's where I'm at. I think Creepshow could possibly be a superior movie, but it does not scare me.
Is that a requisite, though, that it actually terrified you? But I guess we're setting our own requisites,
well,
right?
It's random select. It's what's the best movie.
Right.
What's the best
movie.
Well, it's like Creepshow.
Now, it's a Halloween theme.
Yeah.
It's what's the best
But what's the better movie?
What's the best movie?
Right. Well, it's like Creepshow, though. I don't think its main intentions were to scare you or like be a horror film. It was supposed to be like a suspense. It's like a Twilight. I feel like I'm trying to say something there, where it's like The Omen is meant to like it is like it's one of those prerequisites of showing you like how to draw out a scene and then give you like the you got scared.
Oh yeah.
Right. Well, then Creepshow, it's like that doesn't seem to be the primary directive of the movie, but it could be.
You're right.
It is a secondary or third tier.
This is movie fights, Winter. You have to pick a side.
What is the better? At the end of the day, what's the better movie?
Better film.
What's the better movie?
The better movie is definitely Creepshow to me, but we're talking about horror movies.
But we're talking about movies in general, dude.
We're talking about Halloween.
I'm glad that I united both of you on this.
I'm just saying, like, the whole point of Random Select, we're pitting these films against each other. What's the better movie?
Okay, Creepshow.
There you have it.
I'm not trying to push my agenda. I'm just saying, what's the better movie?
It was close. It's like a 12-round fight. Omen was in there, was battling out, and then
the rope-a-dope happened, I guess. So
I misread what it was. I misread what.
No worries, man. This is the excitement of Random Select. This is why we do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So here we got first round 12. It went 12 rounds, I would say, because Omen is great. like you said, The Omen is an amazing horror film, but is it a better overall film than Creepshow? You know, but we've as the triad, as the Trinity here have decided, Creepshow is the superior film.
Right. What do you think, folks?
What do you think?
Okay, another thing to mention is because I think Brian talked about how like there's some parts of The Omen that are dated.
It's a slower burn.
Right. Well, with Creepshow, there's definitely sides of it that are aged, but since it's going for a comic book like nostalgia pop, EC comic pop, it seems to not affect me as much as some of the dated things in The Omen. Well, and what we'll see in several of the other films on our list, like the older we get, some of the films, Winter's tolerance level goes down.
Well, that's why they were randomly selected.
And I would like to say, on that note, Winter, I found that some themes that I might have missed in the 90s or the 80s or the 50s were heavily like prevalent. You know, like alcoholism and things of the
sexism,
today.
The military.
It was
we cover a lot of stuff.
I'm looking at this with a different eye than I did
before.
So
absolutely. So, what do you think, Nerdiverse? What is the better movie, The Omen or Creepshow? With the airing of this episode of Random Select, we're going to take it to the votes. We're going to run a poll on our Twitter account, which is @mnerdiverse, where I'm going to ask you, what is the better film? Is it The Omen or is it Creepshow? Look out for that. Please follow us on Twitter. And once again, that's @mnerdiverse, where you'll be able to participate and have a bit of the fun with us during the spooky season. I want to thank Brian for coming through.
Thanks for having me. It's a blast.
And I always want to thank Winter for being the main man with the plan.
Waka waka.
Don't take Waka, dog. Also,
I'm just eating chips, man.
I'm just eating some chips, man. And I would like to thank you for listening. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome to the Nerdiverse in my spooky voice. And I'll always ask you to look towards the skies. Look towards the skis.